In a sudden escalation of a row over fishing rights, the UK has sent 2 Royal Navy patrol vessels to monitor a protest in waters around Jersey. It follows a threat by France to cut off the Channel Islands' electricity over new post-Brexit rules for French fishermen. Up to 100 French fishing boats have sailed to the island's harbour, intending to cut off food supplies of the Crown dependency, located 22 kilometers off France. France's maritime minister hinted on Tuesday that France could also cut off electricity supplies. The core of the dispute is represented by post-Brexit arrangements for the shared waters in the stretch between France and Jersey. The island has the sole power to issue licenses, and as of last week, all fishing boats were required to have one to operate there. French fishermen have complained about being prevented from operating in British waters because of difficulties in obtaining new paperwork.
Well, let's explore this extraordinary row further now with Simon Usherwood, Professor of Politics and International Studies at the Open University. He joins us from Guildford in the UK. Thanks for coming on to Euronews Now. I suppose we can expect post-Brexit disputes, especially over fishing, but are you surprised at just how quickly this is escalating between France and the UK?
Well, completely. The issue is not one that requires even one patrol vessel, let alone 4 patrol vessels to be rolling around the Channel Islands. So I think it's really a mark of the lack of trust that the two sides have in each other to implement the trade and cooperation agreement, which should resolve this. And it's also an indication of the lack of channels of communication that seem to be open. So whilst we've got this escalation, I think we also have to remember that there are these local elections that you were mentioning in the headlines in the UK today, and it probably serves the government's interest to show that they're being tough on fisheries and trying to pursue this issue. But it's one that really shouldn't have got anywhere near this kind of situation, and it's going to take some time to unfold and resolve itself.
You mentioned the British elections, and France, of course, has also been commemorating Napoleon's death. I mean, this seems to be a clash of testosterone, whether it's Brexit or Napoleon. How do both sides climb down from this?
Well, it's always a good look to be able to say you're sending in the Navy to sort this out. I think the way it gets resolved is through a fairly prosaic set of meetings between officials on the two sides, including those from Jersey who have a role to play in this. And it's a clear legal obligation on everyone to allow access and for that to be equitable. So I think you will see the tension come out of this after today. But it's not going to address the underlying issues behind all of this.
Now, what about those underlying issues? I mean, is this a one-off, the way this is being approached, or does it set the tone for future post-Brexit wrangling between the UK and France and the wider EU?
Well, unfortunately, it's not even setting the tone. I think it's continuing the tone. Remember that just yesterday, we had the UK climbing down on the status of the EU ambassador here in this country, which has been a simmering issue for several months. So there's always going to be something that's going to be a difficulty, and particularly this new agreement that we've had come into force at the beginning of the month has a huge amount of detail, a lot of implications across business and social activity. We're going to keep on seeing cases like this where the fine prints and the actual implementation on the ground is going to cause difficulty and friction. The question is, how do you work through that? And I think still what we have to see coming through is going to be a way of finding a more amicable way of doing this, rather than sending in the Navy and doing all these kind of demonstrative actions, rather than making things work.